Hello, BioB. So this is your last homework system, which is the excretory system. Sometimes it's also called sorry about that, called the urinary system. Sometimes it can be called that. The main functions of the function of the excretory system is to eliminate non-solid waste. So kind of like in the digestive system we talked about, it has part of its job is to eliminate solid waste, so any of the food that doesn't get digested by your body, so broke down and absorbed as nutrients, then needs to be eliminated from the digestive system. All of your non-solid waste, so like liquids, stuff like that, need to be filtered out by your kidneys and then eliminated. So non-solid waste are eliminated through different parts, like your lungs, your skin, your kidneys are the main part. Lungs exhale carbon dioxide and water, and then your sweat glands in your skin will get rid of excess water and salts and stuff like that. But like I said, the kidney is the major organ of the excretory system. It does most of the filtering. So the principal function of the kidney is to filter your blood in order to remove cellular waste. So as we learned about the circulatory system, which is pumping the blood through your body, you're getting the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide with the respiratory system, but your blood also goes to your kidneys, flows through the kidneys, and your kidneys act like a filter. And I tell kids it's not a great analogy, but kind of think of like a Brita, how the Brita is there to kind of filter out any sort of contaminants and other things out of your water on like your sink or something like that. It's kind of interesting because at any given time, about 20% of your blood is actually in your kidney. So, like a fifth of your blood is in your kidneys at any given time. You can function and live with only one kidney because if one stops working or you have one removed, the other one will actually increase its size to become slightly bigger and take on the extra workload so that you can live. Now, you do have to adjust your diet and some other stuff and, have more regular doctor check-ins and stuff just to make sure. My brother-in-law actually only has one kidney, so there's some things you have to do with that, but you can live and live a healthy life with only one. So this is the kidney, all right. The kidney is this is where the name kidney bean came from, but it's got a kidney bean shape. They're about fist sized. So if you think of about your fist, that's about how big your kidney is, just on average. And like I said, it filters blood. Now, the main thing you need to know, kind of going down, sorry, I guess I skipped number 3, so you would be down on number 5, which we'll talk about this more later. But the filtering units are called nephrons. So you can see in here that it kind of looks like a thing. So like, see how you have this artery come in? Just a basic idea of how the kidney works is the blood's going to come in what's called your renal artery. All right. It's going to put the blood into this like spongy like material. And as it goes through there, well, I'll kind of show you how this works. All the contaminants through using concentration gradients is going to be absorbed out or pulled out of the blood, and then the clean blood will come back or go back to the heart through the renal vein. The ureter is this tube right here, is all of these kind of filter down into these yellowish brown kind of channels, which this is where all the urine and the waste and the urea and extra water and whatever else that the kidneys are filtering out would actually go like this, which goes down to your bladder for you to get rid of it later. So, all right, number 3. So a simple diagram is you would simply say you have 2 kidneys, right? And connected to each kidneys, you have these long tubes, which are called ureters. Okay, your kidneys, why they call it a kidney punch, is kind of on your lower back. They're actually closer to your back than they are to your stomach. But the ureters are the tubes that then carry urine or waste from the kidneys to the bladder. Okay, so you have ureters. The bladder is what holds or stores the urine until it's ready to be released. And then you have a single tube that then goes from the bladder to the outside of the body, which is called the urethra. And that's then what the urine would go down as you're using the bathroom to get the urine and waste out of your body. Okay. So that's just a basic idea of like the parts, and those are really the main parts of it. You also have your lungs, which help get rid of like carbon dioxide, and you sweat some stuff out. But those are probably the four main parts that you would need to know. All right. So what is urea? Urea is nitrogenous waste. It means its main component is nitrogen. It's produced in the liver from you breaking down proteins. So as you're going and you're living your life, you're constantly breaking materials down, building new ones. Remember, catabolic, anabolic. Um, when this protein gets broke down, you create a waste called urea. Urea is the main component of urine. It's what actually gives urine its smell and its color. It's not good for your body, and if it builds up too much in your body, it can actually cause you to become throws off your pH and a lot of other things. So like people that go into like kidney failure that need kidney transplants, they have to get dialysis to. And essentially what a dialysis machine does is it does the job of the kidneys for you. So they hook you up, they run your blood through it. You sit there while this machine essentially filters your blood and puts it back in your body. And depending on how your kidneys are functioning, meaning are they functioning at 50%? Are they functioning at 10%? That determines how often you have to go back to the dialysis clinic and sit and have your blood filtered. Some people might only have to do it once a week. Some people might have to do it every day. It just depends. You also can get other things built up that your kidneys filter out, like uric acid, which comes from the breakdown of DNA and RNA. And then you can also get creatinine, which is a waste of muscle action. All right, so number 5, this is a closer look at a nephron. So nephrons are the filtering units. So the arteries are going to bring the blood in, and what a nephron does is you can see kind of like how the lungs were with the alveoli and everything else, is you get down to these very, very small blood vessels. Why? Because when you get into very, very small blood vessels, you only have one cell. It's very easy for stuff to diffuse or cross that really thin, small membrane. So as the blood goes through this kind of nephron, the waste from the blood is going to jump into these like yellowish brown tubes, which are part of the nephron, which then filter or push all of the waste into this bigger canal, which then goes down and runs into the ureter, which takes all the waste down to your bladder to get removed. You essentially have about 1,000,000 nephrons in each kidney, so about 1,000,000 filtering units like this. So it's very productive, very good. So the 3 steps to the filtration process are essentially this. Okay, so when the blood comes in, is first you're going to get filtration. So as the blood's going through this kind of little part of it, and you don't need to know all these terms, just know that first the water, electrolytes, amino acids, glucose, urea, all these molecules are going to come out of the blood. So the first step is essentially the nephron takes everything out of the blood, like completely filters it. Okay, like everything, water, electrolytes, everything. So now you would have just like almost completely pure blood. But what you'll learn is that doesn't that's not really as good as you would want it. I mean, you need some stuff in your blood, like you need some glucose in your blood, you need some ions in your blood, you need electrolytes, like you need some of the stuff in your blood. But what your kidneys essentially do is they start by taking everything out, and then after they've taken everything out up here, as the blood flows through these other parts, it's going to reabsorb any of the healthy, good stuff that it needs back in. So it essentially pulls everything out, and then the good things like some of the glucose and stuff like that is going to be reabsorbed back into the bloodstream at a healthy level. So the filtrate then enters the rest of the tubule. Most of the materials are reabsorbed, the good stuff. Materials not reabsorbed then are like the urine and the waste. And then the last step then is the excretion, where then this stuff's going to get pushed down the ureter, It's going to hook up to the ureter, which takes it from the kidneys to the bladder, and then you get rid of it. Um, if you think about it, this is kind of the reason why I often tell kids, um, as weird as it sounds, this color of your urine can tell you a lot about how hydrated you are. Because through this filtration process, if you are drinking lots of water and you're very hydrated, your kidneys will actually filter out a bunch of the water in step one, but then your body, sensing that your blood is already full of water, will say, no, we don't need all the water back. So some of it stays in the kidneys and goes to the bladder, and you get rid of it, you excrete it. So then your urine ends up being very light in color and doesn't really smell and stuff like that. So you're very hydrated. When you're very dehydrated, then your body's going to pull water out of your blood into these nephrons, but then your body's going to say, wait a second, we're dehydrated. We need as much water as we can. So a ton of that water gets reabsorbed back into the bloodstream, leaving pretty much just urea and just waste in your urine. So then your urine, instead of being light in color, ends up being very concentrated, and your urine will be very, very dark yellow. It'll have more of a smell to it and stuff like that. Because why? Because there's no real water content in the urine, because it's all been reabsorbed, because your body is trying to keep you hydrated because you're working out or whatever, and you're just very dehydrated. So, okay, well, hopefully that helped, that video, and we'll see you guys later.